Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss about the bone of upper limb, that is humerus. In upper limb, we have to start the bone or clavicle, scapula, humerus, radius, ulna, and articulated hand or bones of the hand. Today we will discuss about the humerus. Okay, let's start. The humerus is the bone of arm. We know in arm we have only one bone, that is humerus, but in forearm we have two bones, that is radius and ulna. It is the longest and strongest bone of the upper limb. Okay, then come to the parts. The humerus is a long bone. We know a long bone has a typical long bone has three parts, that is upper end, lower end, and shaft. As humerus is a long bone, so it should also have these three parts. So it consists of three parts like a typical long bone, such as upper end, lower end, and shaft. Today we will discuss only about the upper end. So we will mainly focus on the upper end. Upper end presents the following 5 features. What are they? Number 1, head, the neck, greater tubercle, lesser tubercle, and intertubercular sulcus. Okay. Now let's see what are these part of the upper end. This is a very good picture of upper end of the humerus. We told that upper end has 5 features or 5 present parts. That's number 1 is the head. Number 2 is greater tubercle. Head is this rounded structure is head, and this elevated part is greater tubercle. Then this is the lesser tubercle, another elevated part. The greater tubercle is usually bigger, so we call it greater tubercle, and lesser tubercle is usually smaller in size, so we call it lesser tubercle. And look at that, this is the medial side and this is the lateral side. Head usually lies in medially, so you can say the lesser tubercle lies medially and greater tubercle lies laterally. Then the number 4 feature is bicipital groove. Its another name is intertubercular sulcus. This space is called bicipital groove or intertubercular sulcus. Why it is called intertubercular sulcus? Intertubercular, that means it lies in between two tubercle. That is, it lies in between greater tubercle and lesser tubercle, so it is called intertubercular sulcus. And its another synonym we have told that is bicipital groove. Why it is called bicipital groove? Because it lodges the tendon of long head of biceps brachii. In arm we have an important muscle, that is biceps brachii. The tendon of long head of biceps brachii passes through this groove, so it is called, another name is called bicipital groove. And the number 5 is neck. In humerus we have 3 neck. Number 1 is anatomical neck. Number 2 is surgical neck. And number C is morphological neck. Now let's see which one is the anatomical, which one is the morphological, and which one is the surgical neck. The anatomical neck is a constituted part between head and two tubercle. Look at that, this line represents the anatomical neck. Okay, so it is a constricted part which lies in between head and two tubercles. This is the front view and this is the back view. In back view we can see the anatomical neck lies just surrounding the neck, just below the neck, in between head and two tubercles. Then come to the surgical neck. The surgical neck is another constituted part which lies in between upper end and shaft. This part is the upper end and this one is shaft. So it is a constricted part which lies between upper end and shaft. And in back view or posterior view we can see this is the surgical neck, this constricted part. Then come to the morphological neck. Morphological neck is not clinically so significant, but we have to know a little about it. the morphological neck lies in between anatomical and surgical neck, just like this manner. Okay, just like this manner. This is the morphological neck. We can say how it can be identified. The morphological neck lies 0.5 centimeter above the surgical neck. And what does it represent, Baba? Or what is its significance of the morphological neck? Morphological neck usually represents the epiphyseal line of a growing long bone. We know a growing long bone has usually two parts. One is epiphysis and another one is diaphysis. When a bone is completely developed, such as this bone is humerus, then epiphysis name is converted into upper end, and lower epiphysis is named as lower end, and the middle one, which was named shaft, which was named diaphysis in earlier, then now it is shaft. Okay, so the growing long bone has two parts, epiphysis on two end, two epiphysis, and in middle, that is diaphysis. But when the bone is developed, this epiphysis name is called upper end and the diaphysis is converted into shaft. So actually this morphological neck represents the epiphyseal line of a growing long bone. This is the morphological neck here, and this is the morphological neck. Now we'll know about the rest of the part. First, come to the upper end. Upper end, head. We will talk about the head. Look at the head. Head is smooth, rounded, and forms 1/3 of a sphere. হেডটা কিরকম? Head looks like smooth, rounded, and forms 1/3 of a sphere. Sphere means a rounded structure like a ball. Okay, so it doesn't forms a full sphere, not like a full sphere. Okay, it forms just 1/3 of a sphere, not a full sphere. It is covered by an articular hyaline cartilage, as the upper end of the head forms a joint with the glenoid cavity of the scapula and forms a joint that is called humerus, glenohumeral joint or shoulder joint. As when there is a joint, there must be an hyaline cartilage. Okay, there must be an articular cartilage. Okay, here the articular cartilage is articular hyaline cartilage, which is thicker in center and thinner at periphery. That means if it is the head of the humerus, if we see it from the side view, in the center the articular cartilage will be thicker, and in the periphery this will be thinner. Look, we can have a view of the head. Look at that. This head is almost round and it forms not a full sphere. Look at that. It looks like 1/3 of a sphere. It is, look at that, its margin is smooth, rounded, and it forms a joint with the glenoid cavity of the scapula, that is shoulder joint. There is a capsular ligament of shoulder joint. It's not clearly visible, but we can say the capsular ligament, that is articular hyaline there is a articular hyaline cartilage. We said it was thick at center, so it will be thick at the center and it will be thin at periphery. We use different color, sorry. So this articular hyaline cartilage is thicker at center and it will be thinner at periphery. Okay. Now come to the neck.